Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Safe Haven Valley Railroad Workbench. Today's Monday, and I thought I'd just get a jump on doing my walls. I've already got the corner posts done and weathered. See if I can get a close-up shot of this for you real quick. That is kind of how they turned out. They got basically this German wash for dark yellow. It's a wash for dark yellow down as the base stain, and then I went and used the sponge and sponged on some rain gray and then the white, just to kind of give it kind of some age look. Now I'm going to be using more of the German dark yellow wash, just straight. And we're going to start with a small piece so you can see what it does. So just dip my brush in there, and I'm going to go like that, like this. And then watch what happens when I bring over the white spirit. Because then I'll just dip this in just real quick, and then I just go. I'm just letting it run. So I start at the top, and I'm just letting it run down. And then I'm going back over it lightly, just to give it some lightness to it. So we end up with that. That is what we end up with. Not too bad. So I'll do that again. I took the brush and I just painted on where I wanted it. Then I took over here to my little tray here that has the same stuff with white spirit in it, and I just run it from the top down. I just keep it in an angle. Hold on a second, move this up out of the way for a moment. There we go. And then I just go like this. Just kind of paint it on, and just kind of let it wash down. As it, I don't care that some of the white shows. That's okay, because it's whatever I did with before. I touched where I wanted to paint, then I came and did a thinner coat of this stuff, and then now that it's absorbed, look at the outcome of that. And I'm not using gray on this building. I decided not to. I just didn't think it looked good. So what I'm going to do is I'm adding a little bit more I'm just using the heavy wash underneath. And I'm doing different layers in different spots. And it achieves that grayness naturally, I think. So let me show you this again. Now I got the second coat on top, which I'm not doing anymore. So I don't know if you can see this now that I did a second coat real quick. But to me, it has a little bit of a gray tint to it with wood and then the wash. And the only thing I did, I'll show you, is I use this here. The wash for German dark yellow. I did that on first. Then I have a little mixture here in my tray of minerals, not mineral spirits, but white spirit. And I just dab my brush in it and then just go over it with the second or so coat and just let it run all the way down and let it mix and change. And as it dries, I like how it changes a little bit. I suppose I could add a gray wash over this with just acrylic and isopropyl alcohol, but I'm actually liking just this the way it is. I do like this look though. Not too bad, but I'm just going to go with it this way. So now that I did that, we're going to do these other two big walls. And just going to dip my brush in. And go in here. And I'm going to do kind of a look like this. And then just kind of, and then what I'll do is I'm going to go across the top. I'll just dab it into the actual. Kind of crumb across it. Brush it on and kind of lightly brush it off. And I do that so I can get different looks on the building. And it makes it kind of give it not an over weathered look underneath, but it does show that there's been, you know, a little bit of weathering done. So that is what I'm going with, just like that. It is just straight wash. It's for German dark yellow, it's good because the white brings a little bit of gray. And then if you really want to do it right, you can also add a little bit more of the wash to it. Like if I wanted to go here and go boom, I just do that after dipping it in the mineral. I don't know why I'm talking about mineral spirits. It's not mineral spirits. It's white spirit. And you just dip it in that with the combination. It's a thinned out version, and then it just, you know, doesn't really overdo the undercoat a lot, I think, you know. And this would look cool by itself, even if you did it like that. So there is the finished wall, underlayment wall, versus where we started. So you can see the difference. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do it again. And I'm just going to go, just kind of brush my brush over it. Notice how I did this whole wall with only one dip. AK has really stood by their product, and I can see why. Now this is just one dip of the brush loaded all the way down the wall. Now I'm going to use my thinned out stuff and go over it. And we're just going to do this. Now, that makes a variant of color because you want a little bit of a shade difference on every wall. You don't want it identical because not every walls on a building don't face all the same direction. They just don't. We have 4 walls: north, south, east, and west, or northeast, southeast, northwest, and northeast. You know, all the northwest and southwest, east and southeast, depending on which way the building is angled. But if you look at this, let me move my paint out of the way here. This is a good start to the walls. Now, an alternative to adding to this would be maybe a stain, like a shadow gray from Vitero, or, you know, Hunter line, whatever it is you use. You could add some gray to this, and just hintly add it in. Just see how I got this darker here? That's perfect. You know, that's an in wall. There's a lot going on here, so you got more of a darker, more faded look and stuff. I could just leave it like this and go with it, and just give it a white or green trim, and it'd probably be okay. But that's not what I'm aiming for. So now comes the fun part. I'm actually going to do I'm just going to apply the light avocado to this with this base. So I'm gonna rinse my brush. And yes, with the enamel paints, you want to use the white spirit to clean your brushes. It pulls all of the paint out mostly. And when you use this stuff, try to use it in a well lit area. And so I'll show you my brush. I've used it a few times. So the white brush bristles are stained, but the brush is clean. Look at that. The color of the brush is still pretty good. So just set this back on the tray to dry. And then I'll put a little bit of, I did use the other one a little bit ago, so I will rinse that as well. Dab it off. And we'll put down a little bit at a time here. So now I take my little sponge. I'm dabbing a lot of it off because I'm going to go little to more. I don't want to go too heavy because I want the backdrop colors to start to show through. Just a little bit, you know, just to I don't want to fully take away the weathered look. So I'm doing kind of a dry sponge as possible and adding little by little. There. See that? I got the darker faded, like it's fading away look on there on that wall. So that looks pretty good to me. It's not an old building, but it's old enough to where the paint is starting to wear, and maybe not exactly peel, but start to fade and wear. The back side of the wall has started to already come through. So that is actually really, really good look. I'll let that dry and see where it lands. Might have to make some touches. So we're just going to continue on with this real quick and do the rest. And kind of do it the same way. So you just start light, just kind of go down the line here. Just kind of keep going. Work light to heavy until you achieve the right shade. Now you don't want all the walls to look identical, but you want them close in to wear. And you know, I'm not going all out. I'm not doing the whole entire wall. Well, solid. You know, I want it to be green, but I also want it to show that the wall is been there. Now, I might uh, give it a little bit of a very, very, very light gray hint to it, but that's going to determine how this comes out. Now, look at that wall. That's a different wall. I have a little bit of up here and a little bit at the bottom, and it's, you know, you see some of the darkness in the middle. Some of the darkness in the middle, you got a little bit up here, there, and it's faded there, and it's okay. Now, that's all right. I want it to look like that. I want it to, you know, this is, again, we're layering this up. So I'm getting that on there, and, I will put a touch of things on there later on. This is just the beginning. We're not even, we don't even have the corner post on yet. So we're just going to keep on chugging away at this. So I'm going to grab a little more paint. Just keep on going. I really like how this green is really matching the backdrop that I chose. It's kind of a brownish yellowy color, and it just really has popped. Now I'm gotten close to the finish. I'm just taking my sponge and just dabbing and kind of lifting and moving paint around. There. I'm kind of liking that a little bit. I'm kind of liking that. It's not done, but like I said, I'm getting green on the wall, and it's showing some of the wood behind it. We're gonna let it fully dry, and then review it, see what I need to do to it, and then when I get satisfied with the walls, we can then add the cornered pieces and move on with the build. But what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of getting the walls all greened up with sponge painting. And we're just about done with this part of the project. It's looking to be pretty darn good. So let's get some more paint on the sponge. And if you happen to get a little too much on there, you can always go back and lighten it up with being this is acrylic paint. You can go back and thin it out just a little bit with some paint thinner, just to thin it out. Now these are doors, so you have to think about, there is wear there, and you got a deck up above, so this is a little more protected. So you want a little more dark around down here, because it's not going to be as worn around these doors as it is everywhere else, where the actual light gets to it a whole lot. But there is some wear to it, so you want it to look a little bit newer, like it still has some paint on there. So you dab it on good, and then you dab it off a little bit. And what I like to do is I like to take my, where did it go? Here it is. Take a thick brush sometimes and just go. What those brushes will do is they'll get in there and they will take the lines that were filled, and they will just make them appear so. That's all I do to that. There, that wall is pretty good. Just got a couple more little spots to hit. Still there we go. There's some, as you can tell, there is some faded look to it, which is what I was achieving. You have the white, you have a little bit of the dark popping through, you have the white of the wood underneath popping through, and then at the base, I'm going to make sure it looks good there too, but it just needs a little bit extra. Be careful not to break this piece. It's not supported unless you added a support to it. I didn't. There we go. There we go. That looks a little better. There we go. Every wall is a little different characteristic. Like I said, we're going to be adding a little stuff back to this, and You know, I'm going to add a little more to this wall. It's just a little too, little, a little too light on of the wood showing. So there, just had to add a little bit. All right, there we go. You can still see thick splotches of paint on the wall, thinned out in other areas. That's kind of what I was going for. Again, I'll let these all dry. I'll review them, and then we'll move on with more weathering at that point. And then, like I said, I already got the corner post done. And once you add the corner post, there's the trim that's going with this building. So I got a little bit of more work to do on the corner posts, to kind of, as you can see, just dial it down just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. They're still a little too ivory. So we're going to work on that. So that will be a wrap for today's part of the build. Again, we're just still in the beginning phases of this project. So stay tuned for the rest. I've gotten, I still have a lot of weathering to do because I got a lot of trim to do, and then a lot of the dock stuff is just going to be aged gray wood, you know, brownish gray. So that'll be, when we get to that point, like even the decks are going to be weathered, kind of a brownish gray color. So it's going to offset this, and you have the white, it's kind of a whitish gray. So it's all going to come together with an aged look. It's hard to see right now, but you know, it'll be good. And I may even do something just like this. You know, you never know. We'll see how it all looks when it get there. And then in the meantime, I still have, I will get the rest of the lean-to stuff. This one done. I did the big one. Now I got to do the same thing for the small. And then once that's all done, this is just an addition to this building. So it'll look good. But until next time, you guys be safe, have fun modeling, and I will see you back here on the workbench here at Safe Haven. Keep it safe and have great time enjoying the hobby. Talk to you later.